Alright, we're going to get started here on page 5.8 in the HSE workbook. We are doing isometric drawings. Let's have a look at what is given. The front view, the top view of a model, the position of a starting point. They're also giving us this left view. If I look from the left hand side, this rib here is those two lines that I see running down there. That square there at an angle is those three lines. Thank you very much. Just give us a moment here. Please take this back. Thank you. Just give it back to her. Zara.
What?
Okay. No, you can just give that back. Thank you. Sorry for that interruption here. We had some logistics. Remember, this is a live lesson, so things do happen unscheduled and unplanned. All right, so let's get back to what is given. This is the front view. That's the left view. See, if I look from the left-hand side, I'll see that as that tube there. That hidden detail there is this. Do you see that? Yes or no? Yes. Thank you very much. And in the top view, if I look from the top, those two flat surfaces are this. That gap there. All this hidden detail is this pentagon that we have here. It is our, whatchamacallit, dingamalary, thingamabobs. This isometric arc here at the end. Then let's look at some notes that's given. They say here the length of this regular pentagon, thank you very much. A, B, C, D, E. It's 30 millimeters each. Do you see that? 30 millimeter elk van daai sye. En dan die vierkant FGHI is ook 20 mm elkeen van die sye. Okay, so a lot of information plus a cutting plane. Using scale 1 to 1, we now need to draw a neat sectional isometric drawing of the model on cutting plane AA. So, if you think of this 3D, we're going to cut through it all the way there, and we are going to remove everything that is between our eye and that cutting plane. On the side of those arrows, that everything here is going to be removed, in other words, from...
Meneer.
Ja, meneer.
Is die cutting plane nie weer?
Ja, is in die boaansig. So, jy sny vir hom, jy kyk van hom van vooraf, hy is in die helfte gesny. Is jy by? Right? So this cutting plane cuts. It's basically like having something here. Let's say, for instance, this. There's the top view, there's the front view, and there's the left view. And now we're taking it, putting it like this in the front view, and we're cutting through the middle. Bad example maybe. And everything to the front is going to be removed. Yes or no? Okay. So let's get started. One thing that's interesting here, we've got a point A as a reference point. It's possibly point A that's at the wrong... No, wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, if this is point A, so yeah, this is this point, so it needs to lie in this direction. So that full 110, just must make sure that we fit that in. So let's get here and we get started. So there's 110 we needed here. If we have enough space, then we're happy. Yeah, and remember it's still going to be further back because look at where that A is, and that's actually, all of this on the front is going to be taken away. So kom ons vat hom so 'n bietjie stadig, duidelik en uiteindelik, dan begin ons hier met ons 30 grade op. Okay. The width there is 80, and I'm going to mark that 80, and I'm going to immediately, also do the 40 there, that's halfway. Alright, and then the other measurements that possibly, there's a 38 here from the center, so from that center it's 15 plus it's 19, same on that side, 19. Any other details? There's a detail that's 21 from this end to there, we're going to need that as well. So that's actually in line with this one, that mark is in line with that, and in the center there's a 12, so that is 6 on either side. Okay. Then if we do our heights, we can use these measurements here. We start off here with a 20. That height there is a 10, so we can add that in. Then we've got 48 going from here. 10, 20, 30, 48. Okay. Then there's a 30 and a 19. So just getting your measurements is always, of course, the first step in these drawings. And then another 19 on top of that. Okay, so we're kind of forming a glass box around our model. We have 110 going this way. Let me do this box quickly here. Okay, so when we mark this in the exam, I just want to say, your point A is where it is given, okay? And then back, your drawing is actually only going to start here. Does that make sense to you? This is where, it's this half, here on the back here, that we are actually going to be viewing in a way. I hope you see that. Right? This part here, all of this is going to fall away. So that's going to be construction. It's this part that's going to be visible. All right. So let's copy across the measurements that we have here. That's an important one. This one here is important. Okay. All right, sure. Okay, let's start this drawing. I'm going to start it here from the bottom. So at the back we have this height. It's going to cut in here. This first distance is 21. And then we have an angled part here. To do that, we're going to need an auxiliary view. So anywhere, let's use this space here. We're just going to duplicate what we have there. They talk about 120 degrees. So you do a construction line. The height is 10 millimeters. Okay. And then if you 120 degrees is the same as, because that's 60, right? It's if we talk about 180 degree, so you can just go construction line. Okay. And then what do we need to measure? So we have this distance. That's the 10. This distance we've now know is at 60 degrees. And so we've determined, what we've determined is this bit here. That's what we've determined. And so if I go back and I measure that, mine comes to 6. And so if I bring this up here and add my 6 millimeters, I've done a good job in getting this angle right here. And back. Can I zoom in for you to see this better? Okay, just highlight quickly. We know this is 10 in height. We know that is 60 degrees. So if I draw a line perpendicular here, it's that yellow distance is this distance here. Does that make sense? And so I've just recreated an auxiliary view, took that distance, placed it there to get that angle. Okay, is julle by? Moet ek het Afrikaans redelijk? Julle reg? Nee. There's actual people in the class that just drawing, which is also good, so I'm not complaining. But just affirm if you're happy with the progress. Okay. So up to that point, straightforward. In this base, it cuts all the way through. There's nothing funny, nothing else happening here. So I could... I've already got this line here, so I can go in and I'm going to draw this bottom. I'll leave this one as a construction for now. Just in a construction, this base here. Do you see there? I've just done the base in construction. Okay. On top of this now we have that rib coming up. And so now we're going to get to make real use, we want to get this line going up here. And then we're going to start building this part out to get this line will be probably one of the last ones we draw because we have to determine that point. So we'll be using these measurements. I'm going to keep it zoomed in so that you are able to follow, but you at least know where the measurements come from. Okay, so it's 30 in from the side here. We've got a line running up. I do want to just rub out, let me just rub out some of these for clarity so that you don't get confused, because there's going to be a lot of lines now. If you do rub out, to help yourself, please don't rub out all lines. You see, I'm keeping still that outer lines. Just here where I'm going to draw now. And it's also not part of my construction, so I'm not going to lose marks here. All right, so there's a 30. This point, there's a line going up in construction. All right. This is a radius 30. This height is at 48, so we're going to get that center. So 48 from here. Just if is there anybody that's putting up their hand and says, 2, 3, I just need a bit more help to stay up to speed. Are you with me? Is julle almal by? Okay, so I'm getting this distance, that's 48 here, and I need the center because I want to do my arc and I still want to be able to draw my pentagon, and we're going to need auxiliary views for that. Okay, so let's come back here. That's in the center for our circle, so we're just going to do, you take your ruler, set it on 30. Okay, just in all directions here, gonna make a mark, make a mark, make a mark, make a mark, and we're going to draw a isometric square. Okay, then the first line that you draw is the longest possible line in that isometric square to get isometric circle. And then from the obtuse to the center, and we actually just need these parts. I could still draw that one in there, but I'm not going to draw an arc this way, so I'm just going to leave it this way. And then we are going to get this front part. That should line up with that one. And this here is in fact that to there. All right, now let's get to our pentagon, because I think that's where a lot of you are going to struggle. That center of the pentagon and of our, what's I'm gonna call it, our isometric circle is the same thing. Grade 12s, do you know how to draw a pentagon? I wonder. Let's hack it. Can I hack a pentagon for you? Remind you how to hack a pentagon. Just find a space here that's clean. I think this corner is probably the best. We're going to draw a base. They say it's 30 millimeters, right? So on that construction line, just draw your make your 30. Okay, just a construction line. And then you take your protractor, you line it up, and you go from 0 to 72, 10 to 72. Okay? Make a dot. And so from this one to that one, a construction line. Then you place it on the other corner. Double check it, recheck it, triple check it, and you go from the now you have to count again: 72, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. 2, you can make it on the outside, or you can make it on the inside there. You with me? Then all you need is you take your compass, keep it on that 30, keep it on that 30, and you go chip, chip, chip. Chip. All right, join it up. Okay, now we have the pentagon. All right, there it is in construction. Okay, the next thing is we're going to have something lines overlap here. Don't be mad at me. Okay, the next step is we have to determine the center because look there. All right, how do I do a center here? Help gou gou, wie weet? Dankie, jy halveer 'n hoek. You have to bisect. Pick any triangle, any corner here. Grade 10 work. You see how grade 10 is important. Right? Change that size if you need to. Okay, there's one. Okay, you do any other, but the easy one is this main one because it's already perpendicular. And there's the center. This point is the same. Okay. Right, this point and that point's the same position. Okay, but look here, there's a center line. Do you see that center line? Maybe can I highlight it for you? Just look at that center line. Well, it's just a construction line at the moment. That is the line running through there and there. Yes or no? So what do? I put this now in a box. Okay, let me use a different color. Don't sorry about the overlapping, don't be mad at me. All right, this way, this way. Okay, now I take that box's measurements and I'm going to copy it to the isometric. So if I place it here, okay, so I take this side. Well, I can probably take it from the center. Look at what I'm doing. I'm not doing, that is different. It's just this one first. Make a dot. Bring it back to the bottom. Make a dot. Now I go on the width. There's the width. That's going to probably be the same. Are you keeping up? Okay. And I'll draw it also red in a moment for you. Just first get it, my bearings here. Yeah, lekker. It's good to be in grade 12. And you actually have to think. This is where you become future engineers of this country and other countries, is when you push through and become problem solvers. All right, so we've copied this. We still have the center at the right place. Don't get confused now with the isometric arc. That's a different thing. This red box and that red box corresponds. And now I'll use my highlighter again. I want to determine these 5 points on that circle. Are you with me? Okay. So if you the first one here is easy. There it is. Nice clear fat dot. The other two on this side are the same distance from that. Do you see that distance and that distance should be the same? So I come back here, make a dot, do the same on this side, make a dot. Yes or no? Right. And then the last ones are from this corner, and that one should be the same. Make a dot, and everybody says yes. All right, and there is my pentagon. Duidelik eenheid, eindelijk. And now I can draw it in with confidence. Chip, chip. Okay, any questions up to this point? Iemand met 'n vraag? Are you with me? Bietjie by of baie by? Baie by, mooi so. Okay. Here we go up. All right, you have to really see this. You have to take your time to see this in. This pentagon goes through, so we're going to have depth to it. We're going to have depth here. How much depth? We're cutting it in half here. Nee? So we have to use that depth. That is 38, so that is then 19. Nee? So this distance is 19. Okay, so just get 19 on each one of these corners. Okay, that one goes this way. They are going to be parallel to this one. So I'm making it nice and thick. I want you to be able to see that clearly. Okay. Right, then our height. Okay. All right. We're going to that 19 is this side. Okay. Remember that's on the side, and this also goes through here and at the back, and there's a gap in between. And there's another 19, so that height I at least have. Let me just double check. I think it's these two here. That's 19, that's 19. So this we can bring across. And that at least helps us with bringing this part up and bringing this part up here. All right. Then let's bring that up to the top here, just in construction. Okay. On top here, there's going to be these two indents, 20, 20, and 20. So that's right. There's a 60. There's the first 20. There's the second 20. Okay, we'll get the depth now here because we're not sure about that yet. We first have to do this side here. This distance is, it's that 19, eh? So 38 wide. Okay, that comes down this way. Okay. All right, let's start here because this is our next difficult thing. It's this square that's on the side here. So to do this, we again need to determine the center. Now remember, half of this front is gone. That's our center point. This is the 19. That's the 19. That's center. I'll draw it. It's this point here is the center of this. Okay, let's draw that now as auxiliary view. So on the side here, let's do a center and a center. What is the size of each side of that square? Can you remember? 20, nee? Right, this square here is 20 by 20 by 20. So I can take my compass and draw a circle of 20, radius 20. Or if you have a stencil like this, you can also do that. Right? Radius 20. And if I now take a 45-degree triangle, then this length will be 20. That length will be 20. That length will be 20 and, yes or no? That length will be 20. Alright? And then I can go and I can put this again in a box if I want to. But I think this should be enough for me. So there's the center. That center corresponds with this center. And so I'm taking my compass. That height should be the same for that one. On here, make a dot, make a dot. This will be the same, that side. We don't need this side. Ag, kyk wat tekening kom, hy moet hier wees. Julle sê ook niks hier. Hey, nobody said anything, en julle ook te mekaar. Sorry, this dot must have been here. Okay, so I can just go bring this a bit forward. Let's do that. Did anybody see that? De weet, jy het gesien?
Ja, ek het hier gevoel.
Well, okay. Alright, ek moes hom nou net hier geteken het. That's okay. Okay, I'll just repeat this step again. So this was construction. Sorry about that. Okay, so just a reminder, this point was the center of that. So I took this distance here and I placed it here. I took that distance, placed it there. That distance here, and that helped me to join that part. Now 30 degrees. So my paper moved here. Let me just rectify that. Okay. Now back to okay, this distance parallel to works out at 60 degrees. Okay, if we come down here, there's an angle. Okay, sorry, I'm not talking that much because all I'm doing is I'm just following now the different lines that we have created. Okay, and looking at the actual question and making sure that the views are completed. I think as I draw, just be prepared. This is still a mid difficulty question, right? This isn't yet the boss. Okay, that comes down here. Right, before we finish that, let's do the rib that comes up here. That rib starts on the outside, 6 millimeters in because it's a 12 millimeter, and then it goes all the way up to where it's in line with this. Right, so this goes from here to here, And that goes from here. Okay, people, there's no shortcut here, okay? This center was that center. That gave me this height and that height. This gave me that distance, okay? And when I have those three, I join them to get that indent. And then I just copied those measurements across. And fortunately, that is at 60 degrees, so that helped me to draw that line, helped me to draw that line and that line. And these worked out to at 30 degrees. It is fortunate for us. I'm just highlighting some corners here. All right. There's one thing that's missing here, and I'm going to wrap it up within the next minute or two, so just keep looking here quickly, class, also, okay? Dis wat ek nou gaan vir jou wys. Yeah, so this is going to be sectioned. There's a corner here. What is the rule about a rib? How do we know when to hatch a rib? Wanneer weet ons, nou hierdie rib, stem jy saam, ondersteun hierdie hele gedeelte van met die plek. Wanneer wys ek arsering in 'n rib? When do I show hatching in a rib? When I would have cut it in its shortest length. Now I'm cutting it in its longest length. So you're not going to, at 60 degrees, you're going to start here. Use, if you don't have a spacing, use your numbering on there. Alright? I'm going to go chip, chip. I don't hatch that rib because it is sectioned in its longest length. And that's why there's a line. Technically, there's not a line there. Technically, that's one casting. Nee? Tegnies is hierdie aan een. Maar daai is 'n rib. So jy gaan hom nie arseer nie. Skryf dit iewers neer wat jy dit nie gaan vergeet nie. 'n Rib of 'n web wat in sy lengte gesny word, kry nie arsering nie. So duidelik en uiteindelik soos dit is. Okay, as ek nou hier kom, now I'm going to start hatching there on top also. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's a gap. There we go. Here we go. That one. That one. That one. Still nothing there. Here we go. 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 Still nothing on top. In that corner. In that corner. In that corner. Alright, now we eat that top part. We eat this one. We eat here. Okay, let's have a look at this quickly if you're happy with what you see here. The auxiliary views as part of this drawing. Without them, you're not going to get quite a number of these components correct. You have to remember about the rib, not to hatch that. I mean, there's no corner here technically, but it is a rib that's supporting this. That's why it's there. Remember your depth there. Alright, that was a nice challenge. That's page 5-8 in the HSE workbook. On to the next one. Now it's your turn.